Hi there, this is Jerry King. Back with another segment, and this time I'm going to be talking about Chinese metaphysics and the stock markets. A little bit more about Qimen Dunjia and the stock markets in this particular segment. So, about the stock markets, this isn't financial advice. So, do your own research, make your own decisions. Nothing's certain, obviously. Like even with Chinese metaphysics, I'm just throwing out certain information about what I found and how to look into the stock markets using certain methods in terms of how to predict and how to make my own investment decisions. That doesn't mean that you're going to be following everything exactly to what I do, right? So let's get to it. Today's an interesting day because we had CPI numbers coming out from the United States, the inflation data that the stock markets and everybody else is eyeing. And so, interesting thing is, I did this T-Men chart, and today's July 12th, and I was going to the washroom at around 5 a.m. or so. I couldn't sleep, and I was like, daylight savings adjusted was 4:21 a.m. I just decided, oh, CPI data is coming out within like, I don't know, like 8 or 9 minutes. Eastern time was 8:30 or so, and I'm like, okay, let's take a look and see whether data was going to be good or not, right? And how is this going to affect the stock markets? So the consensus number was around 3.2%. That was the number that I found on I think Morgan Stanley had a consensus around there. So yeah, what will the numbers come in at? Well, with the Chi chart, I didn't really even though I asked this question, the main focus in my mind was, is the market's going to react favorably or unfavorably? So first off, we could look at the day. So it's a Xinwei day, the yin metal goat. So other stuff that we may want to consider looking at is obviously where the Shangmen is located, where the Kaimen is located, where's the Wu Earth. Wu Earth can represent your capital. I mean, I don't want to go into too many details. I mean, you read about Qimen or read my Qimen Dunjia book. I have most of this stuff explained. The other obvious one is when we're looking at the stock markets, you're looking at the boss. The boss. How is the boss going to react? Is he going to be happy or not? So where do you find the boss? Well, in Da Liu Ren, we look at the Tai Sui, right? In Ximen, I look at the Tai Sui too, the leader, the boss. The boss is the Gui water, right? So Gui water is found in the Qian Palace. And obviously the Shangmen is also in the Qian Palace. Other things that we may want to look at is the day located in the Gan, and then we look at the Wu Earth, which is in the Kun. So I also see the Kunwang, the void, in these two palaces. I don't really care too much about the Kunwang too much. I wanted to focus more on whether the boss was happy or not. So the gray water here, whether there's something feeding it, right? So if I'm looking at the individual person, like I'm the Xin, I'm looking at the gun is feeding the Qian Palace, right? Another thing you can look at is probably the Zhifu as well. You might use that as the boss as well. But in this case, I kind of ignored this one as well. I just want to focus on whether the Gui was happy or not, right? Whether the boss was happy, whether the capital was feeding it. So because this is a Fu Yin chart, Fu Yin represents lack of movement or no movement, right? So nothing moving. I didn't think too much, because when I woke up, I was like, okay, this is what I want to look at. I just want to see the boss and whether he has some auspicious start. So there's a Shangmen and Tian Xin. So long story short is basically, to me, this looks quite favorable, even though there's a Fu Yin, and then there's a void in the where the Wu Earth Palace is located, which to me, I kind of ignored it. I was like half asleep. And so my belief within that 8-minute time frame is CPI numbers are going to be good, and the futures are going to possibly rocket. But even after it rockets, who knows where it'll go, right? Because I'm looking at such a short time frame where I'm only asking a question whether numbers good, whether because this will affect the rate hike. So yeah, CPI numbers came in at around 3%. News came out at 5:33 a.m. So daylight savings adjusted, that was 4:33 a.m. So you could take a look at the time here. So I had like an 8-minute window to make this kind of a prediction, and then boom, suddenly futures are soaring. Dow futures rip higher as inflation report comes in lighter than expected, and you can see my screenshot on my phone down to 61% battery. Well, I'm actually charging my phone right now. Yeah, so it actually spiked a lot higher when the markets open. But yeah, like it seemed favorable, but data unlikely to dissuade Fed from July rate hike. So that Fu Yin might have stated the fact that the Fed's going to stick, so everything remains status quo, right? Because the previous meeting, the Fed decided saying that there's going to be another rate hike coming, maybe a couple more. So that's still in the cards because of that Fu Yin chart. Other random stuff, used car prices, airfares soft, and food costs stay steady. Inflation remains hot in Miami, Atlanta, and Seattle. Seattle is very obvious. Just a high-tech area, a lot of people spending. So nothing really surprising. So the day before, I actually kind of gambled. I used Daliu Ren to buy a specific stock. And I was like, no, I'll just give it a try. So I just randomly bought a stock called DraftKings, DKNG. And at 7 a.m., so basically my time, 7 a.m. So we're just looking through the time. It was 5:33 a.m. Market's still not open yet. Opens at 6:30 a.m. my time. So at 7 a.m. I was looking at it. I was like, whoa, okay. So my unrealized profit is now 247. So a stock I bought the day before this, it's up 7.15%. Just randomly playing around. It'll probably come back down. I'll probably add more shares. That doesn't mean that you're gonna have to add more shares to follow me, but I did my own divination. But yeah, this is something that's I'm just doing for fun. I could be wrong, I could screw up, but whatever. Just threw $2,800 just to give it a try, just to see what goes on. Very small fraction of my portfolio, anyways. So where do we go from here, and what does Chinese metaphysics say? So there's a lot more than just using奇门遁甲, I find. When I look at stock markets, I look at specific individual stocks. I mean, look at Facebook and Nvidia. Like, why did Meta and Nvidia shares skyrocket? Right? That's something that's really interesting. So I'll actually bring this up. Oops. I'm trying to escape from this. Okay. I wonder if markets are still probably going to fall back down. Oh, it's still up a bit. Let's just quickly take a look at Meta. So if we base on the charts, like look at the chart, like the 1-year chart of Meta, like anyone who invests on Facebook, like during like November, December, where markets were going to crash, everybody's the world's ending, we're going to be dying, blah, blah, blah. And look at the astronomical rise of Meta, Facebook. Like it went from $100 to like what 300. So it's like 2x, 3x coming. It's ridiculous. So why didn't Meta actually go up that much? We could attribute it to Mark Zuckerberg. You could also take a look at his chart, right? Bazi chart. And just keep forgetting his birth date here. May 14th, 1984. So I'm just going to quickly plot that one out. May 14th. May 14th. So if we look at Mark Zuckerberg's chart, he is a Wu Earth. I don't want to go on for too long here. Wu, and he is a born in May 14th. Ji and Jia, Chen, Si, and Zi. So this is his birth chart. And how can we just, based on this, and just randomly invest and say, oh, okay, I'm going to buy shares of Meta and then watch it skyrocket? Well, one thing that's very simple is 2023 is the year of the Gui Mao. And what do we have here? Very simple. The wealth is coming straight to Mark Zuckerberg. So basically, anyone who bought shares of Facebook, they're laughing to the bank if they actually use Bazi. I'm not saying I own any shares. I'm not disclosing anything. Actually, I do have some. I'm not saying how many. Doing quite well on these shares, but yeah, here's one example, and the other one I wanted to look at was NVIDIA. So CEO of NVIDIA, he's from Taiwan. So if we look at this one here, CEO, Jensen Huang. I keep forgetting his name here. That's February 17, 1963. So 1963, he's basically 60 years old. So he's what we call offending the Grand Duke. Let's just take a look. So that was February 17th. And let's do his chart. Jensen Huang. And he's Feb 17th, 1963. So just going to do this quickly. He's a Xin, Jia, and Gui, Mao, Yin, Mao. And guess what? We have another winner here. Metal, born in the wood. Look at all the wood. And not only that, he is offending the Grand Duke. And is this supposed to be bad for him? No. So everybody thinks Fan Tai Soi, the offending Grand Duke, is terrible. How the heck does NVIDIA shares skyrocket if it's terrible? Right. So right here we can see all this water and wood. So this is more water that's feeding into his wealth. This is what we call surrender to wealth. So in Chinese, we call it 从财 ge. Right here, surrender to wealth. Surrender to wealth. So what does it mean? So we could go on further. I'm just going to quickly point this out. So 2024 加 Chen, and 2025 you got Yi. Okay, we'll just do this. It's wiped me out here. 24 加 Chen. So more wood. Another interesting fact is we got the Chen coming straight to form the directional combination. And I guess some of you probably spotted. Look at that. Chen, Shan, Zi, Chen. Another interesting thing to look out for, this AI boom. Who knows? Maybe these guys become twice as rich as today. I don't know if you feel anything if you're like, let's say you're got 100, like let's say you got 30 billion and it suddenly becomes 60 billion. Is it going to change the way you live? I don't know. But yeah, I'm just throwing it out there in terms of what may possibly happen. I'm not looking at tomorrow. I'm not looking at next month. I'm looking at long term here. So yeah, why did Meta and Nvidia shares skyrocket? It was very clear from the charts there in the Bazi charts. It's not rocket science to some of you who have been studying, reading my books and so on and so forth. I've also talked about Jeff Bezos in 2012 in some of my classes, when Amazon was like, I don't know, $100 or so, and it went up to 3,000. Does a stock split, and now it's over 100 again. So yeah, looking at charts. Some stocks that I actually look at for high risk returns. I've been looking at these one: Palantir, Upstart, Adobe, possibly Tesla as well. So yeah, like is AI the way to go, right? Because Meta and Nvidia are heavy into AI. But even if we look at like a stock like if we go to like an Upstart, today's probably not doing that well. I bought this quite a while back. Oh, it's down 11 cents only. It's up like 33% in a couple of days. So if we look at the 5-day chart, just totally gone nuts here from like, I remember on Monday morning, this was a $35 stock in, just holding on to that one, and it just suddenly it skyrockets. So if you even take a look at the year to date, it's gone from what, like I don't know, 12, $11, and now it's like 42, doing a 3x here easily. I don't know how long this is gonna last, but I'm holding my shares. I don't want to talk like a stockbroker or stock analyst trying to promote stocks that I own or stuff like that. But yeah, I just find it quite interesting. There's a couple of Singapore guys that I follow on YouTube as well. It's an interesting guy called Adam Koo. He called the bottom. So another advice I throw out there. I gotta thank Adam Koo for all this. I don't know him personally. I just watch a lot of his videos here. This guy right here. Yeah, some guy to think about as well when you're looking in the stock markets. Yeah, I don't want to go too much further into this, but this guy, he called the bottom at around December. He called this bull market in December. I was watching this guy, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna gamble. I'm gonna believe in this guy because during the COVID crash in 2020, he was telling people to buy, and I listened and I bought. And I was like, okay, this guy works. And lo and behold, maybe I'm just lucky to run into this guy, and hopefully you're lucky to run into this video and watch these videos, because this guy, he's onto something. Like, he was there's in December and January, he put out like I think it was a 3-part series about the stock markets turning into a bull market. And he was like telling people to buy, he was screaming to tell people to buy Nvidia, buy your Microsoft, buy your Meta shares, buy Adobe. Recently he put up a video. Like, look at his Nvidia. This is ridiculous rocket going from $110 to 435. He recently put out a video on CRM Salesforce, and I listened and I decided, okay, I'm gonna buy this. Like, I just bought this like a week ago. And I remember buying this at like around 208, and it just in a freaking week from like Thursday, not even a week, like just 4 days of trading, and it's already up like what, like $15. So yeah, anyone who's watching in Singapore or like interested in the stock markets, I definitely recommend this guy. There's a few others that I watch, but they're not doing quite well. There's a couple crazy guys that are pumping Tesla shares, buying it nonstop and stuff like that. But anyhow, not financial advice, but I just decided, like, if you're really interested in evaluating Tesla, like Tesla's gone nuts this year. You can look at Elon Musk's chart. I'm not gonna bring out Elon's chart, but long story short, you got the picture here, right? Like, this is like clear as nails when you got Mark Zuckerberg got his chart. You see money coming in, and you got Jensen Huang from Nvidia. This is just I don't know, like it's like piecing together a puzzle and you find a final piece of the puzzle. It's like, yeah, the writing's on the wall here. These guys are, yeah, they're on to something. But yeah, I'm looking at other stuff. I'm basically just holding on to my portfolio. I'm not going to sell anything, but I believe when the markets pull back, it's time to buy. So I'm waiting. I wouldn't be buying at these levels. I'm happy with what I own right now, but it's just the Nasdaq hitting a new 52-week high. I mean, or is it an all-time high? I believe it's an all-time high. So it's a 52-week high. Looks like the bull market's in order here. So that's all I have to say. I mean, look at this T-Men chart. Yeah, this is I was looking for short-term information, just testing it out, and then lo and behold, the CPI numbers came in weaker than expected, giving the markets a basically a nice jolt here. But I don't know. Personally, I feel like it's a little bit toppy. I'm not selling. I'll only add, I believe, in the long term of the markets. And then people are freaking about recession, businesses shutting down, and so on and so forth. One more thing I want to mention is the markets are forward-looking. They're looking forward 6 to 12 months down the road. So if your city is shutting down, people are dying, and so on and so forth, you got to also figure out, okay, what's going to happen 6 months from now? Is it going to get worse or is it going to get better? And then you can make certain decisions based on what you see. So yeah, a little bit different of a talk today. I think I talked too much, but yeah, a little bit about the stock markets, a little bit Bazi and 奇门遁甲. Maybe next time I'll put up a chart as to why I made that stock purchase using 大六人. But yeah, that's it for today, and I hope you enjoy this segment. I'll try to put up another video in the near future. All right.